Hello, Red Wave. Welcome to Beware of Bulldogs podcast. Today, we have a very special guest with us today. Joining us live, she is brave and not going to lie, I've spoken with her once. She's the one coach that I would run through brick wall for. She gets me fired up. The last time she was on here, this water polo head coach, Natalie Benson. Coach, how are you?
I'm great, Caleb. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for that intro.
Well, no, thank you for taking time out of your day. I know the kids are at practice right now, so you have the house yourself, and you're spending it with me. So I appreciate that. I really do. I wanted to have you on because you had another very successful season, in my opinion. And it's tough because really only one team gets to end the season on a win. So it never really ends the way we want to for most teams. But you guys had a great season, won the conference again. You enter into the national tournament, and you had to play Cal, and a tough draw because you played them twice already. And I believe they were hosting as well. Were they hosting?
Correct. Yeah, they were the hosts, and then ultimately they ended up getting their goalkeeper ended up winning the Coutinho Award, which is like the Heisman Trophy of water polo. So we had to go up against the Collegiate Player of the Year, essentially.
Wow. And, well, yeah, they're a very good team. You guys are as well. You brought, I think, I'm trying to remember when I had you on, but I think it was right when you joined or after your first year. And so, thanks for coming on. I can't believe you said yes again to this. But anyways, you have established a culture at Fresno State in the water polo program there. Talk to me what it's been like building that culture. Ultimately, I mean, on this show, we call ourselves a water polo school. Throughout the whole season, we are a water polo school. What is
nice.
It been like building that program? You guys have come so far.
Honestly, I think it just comes from having some belief in what you're doing. When Fresno State decided to add water polo, and the last time we were on your podcast here, obviously we were brand new. We were really top heavy with freshmen. None of the student athletes had been a part of like a collegiate season before, better yet, a season together. And so, finishing that season, I think we were like 7-18 or something along those lines. And then every year we progressively just continued to improve and make history. And I think that's the coolest thing about this group is they've really bought into the fact that everything they do, it could be a first. It could be the first time within our program that we've achieved a certain thing. And that's exciting to these young people. And I think a lot of people kind of want to just join the winner or be a part of the thing that's for sure, that they know that they're gonna get what they want out of it. But we had a lot of young people show up and say, I'm willing to put this thing that's kind of an unseen, unknown thing and put it on my back. And with those student athletes, we've been able to build a really strong team that can continue to impress me with their ability, but also with the way they get along, the way they come together, and the fact that they still have a lot of fun doing this, right? And we get to play a game. That's what we get to do, and it's hard and it can be tedious at times, but ultimately we get to play a game, and how lucky are we? So we've got a lot of great young people out there who are working their butts off for the Bulldogs and for the Valley, and they take it very seriously. They love their community, and especially in a sport that's kind of a country club sport. To be at Fresno State is it's not the sexiest, most glamorous thing for some of these kids, but the kids that signed up for it, they know exactly what it is, and they've been able to put it on their back and make it what it is now, which I'm really proud of.
Sure as heck isn't sexy because you get the crap beat out of you in the pool.
That's right. It's a physical game. Like in these, they're getting after it. And even when we recruit and stuff, I talk about it. I'm like, hey, you got to do what's best for you, and not just what your mom and dad want you to do or your high school coach wants you to do, because ultimately you're the one that's going to be showing up here and throwing up in your mouth, not them. Like getting your face kicked in by somebody else, like not them. So you got to know exactly what you're signing up for before you show up.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about recruiting because in this new era of NIL and transfer portal, we don't get to hear about it when it comes to the smaller sports. I'm sure it affects you guys. I know you are using the transfer portal not to build a team, but kind of fill in spots. Possibly, I'm assuming I shouldn't do that, but I'm assuming that's what is going on. But how has that and this new era of college athletics affected the I'll just water polo?
Mm-hmm. I think the nice thing is like I'm actually trying to use it to our advantage. I think that, obviously people want to get behind a winner. We've had pretty sustained success and great people who do give back to the community as well. And I think what we could do to continue building our team and growing our team is utilizing NIL to make these young people's lives just a little bit easier. It helps them fill up their gas tank, helps them, work a fewer hours during season, because we have some kids that are going to school, they're playing, and they're finding a way to make a few bucks working. And so, obviously you hear about the Caleb Williams, and you hear about, the big NIL deals that are struck, and these kids making millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I'm just thinking like, hey, how can we get this kid a couple $100 here and there, get a couple $1,000 to make her life just a little bit easier, to where she doesn't have to, spend her evenings until, 8, 9 o'clock working. She can go home and make herself a meal and get to bed at a reasonable hour, or get ahead of some of her classwork, So I think using NIL to our advantage will be good, will be beneficial. And I think a lot of the teams that are traditionally outperforming us when it comes to playing, the UCLAs, the USCs, the Stanfords, et cetera, they have other sports that they'd like to invest in. And I feel like the football players, the basketball players, the baseball players, the even volleyball, softball would probably tap into that fund a little bit earlier than a water polo would. And again, we traditionally come from like, a lot of water polo kids usually traditionally come from like maybe more affluent backgrounds. And so it's not as big of a deal to them. But if we can kind of get in and be a first mover on that, I think it could really be an advantage to our program. As far as but nobody's like leaving because I didn't offer them, $100,000 in NIL or anything like that. We're not quite at that point with our sport. I think transfer portal though is the thing. I think with recruiting, doing our best to find kids that fit Fresno State as well, even if that means they're really great athletes, but maybe they don't fit us. And a lot of times they'll kind of filter that out as well. But we see the transfer portal, it's usually kids that maybe went back east, didn't like it, or at a lower level, didn't like it. It's really rare to see kids like really, really strong athletes, competitive teams leave and want to go elsewhere. But there were a couple of interesting moves within the transfer portal just after the season, which was pretty exciting, but also sad at the same time, because that they're probably not going to consider an email from me or a phone call from me. They probably kind of have their sights set on, the defending national champion. That's probably where they want to end up. So the portal's hit and miss. We obviously got a couple young ladies out of the portal this year. Abby Schinshauser did a great job for us. She was a transfer from Wagner College. She graduated from Wagner, had 2 years of eligibility remaining, and decided to have a change of scenery and, have a degree field in her graduate school that was a little bit more in line with what she wanted. So it wasn't that she had a bad experience where she was, but just wanted a different experience here. And then we got Robin Greenslade from the University of Indiana, same deal. Came in, had 2 years of eligibility, and wanted to do a graduate program here as well. So we have been able to use the portal to our advantage a little bit, but we'll see how that goes once like that COVID wave clears, which is pretty much right now.
And Abby was, I believe, All-American honorable mention.
She was, yeah, first team conference selection. Arguably, maybe it's my bad. I should have put her up for newcomer of the year, but I put her up for player of the year. And knowing her, I think she would much rather have been up for that. And so, I think she's been a tremendous help for us this season. Yeah.
I love that mentality, Coach. I love that.
That's her, man. That kid's fierce. Yeah, she's fierce.
Oh, so now we're talking about, we brought up some players, dropped some names. Talk to me about your sophomore, Haley Andrus. I believe she holds the record for most goals in Fresno State history. What do you tell a player like that? Just get the ball and shoot it? What was it like coaching her? What has it been?
I call her Haley Houdini. She's a magician. Like she's just an incredible talent, and I think she's just really scratching the surface of what she can do. And she has this natural whip of a shot. It's like having a pitcher that just you can't hit. Like just no matter how hard you try. Again, even the cow goal, Haley can tear her up. Like if she gets a good look on cage, she's just hard to read. She's so lanky and long and has different release points. But she's just such a natural shooter. It's just so organic within her. And I think the coolest thing about Haley is that she's just having a really fun time. She enjoys having the lights on and playing under the lights and, just having a good time with her friends and high-fiving and doing the finger guns and everything else. Like she's just a fun person and has a really great affect for it. And I think when she lets go of all the expectations and what people expect of her, she's just able to play and she's able to just have fun and be herself. She's pretty hard to stop. So she's pretty special. She's fun to coach, but also those kids that are fun to coach are also sometimes like you want to like shake them vigorously, but she's a great kid, great teammate, very emotionally intelligent, like understands how to read a room and like bring people together. And it's not like, hey, look what I did, I'm so smart. Like it's very I don't want to say like under the table, but it's very calculated but in a good way, where it feels very natural and very normal. Not like I did this with ulterior motive or for a specific purpose. She has the ability to make somebody feel really special.
Right. Well, I like that's great teammate. That's what you want in a teammate.
Great teammate and a great player. Yeah. One more time.
Yeah. She was second team All-American.
She was. And just for context for everybody, the way they work that out is there's one goalkeeper and 6 or 7 field players on each team. So she's essentially top 14 in the country, if you want to look at it that way. So she's, again, was every coach who came up to me was like, man, Haley, and it's been fun to see people have a lot of respect for not only our team, but just some of our athletes individually as just individual players, kids that they're like, man, I wish I recruited that kid, or I wish I got a chance to coach her. I wish she was on my team. She'd make my life a lot easier. Hate playing against her. But she's a great kid, great player, great teammate.
I love that. And now talk to me about Brooke Ochoa. We hear about her a lot too. She does a lot of good for the team. She was All-American, honorable mention. Now she was a junior. So what was coaching Brooke like this past year?
Similar to Haley, she's just a goober. She's fun. She's like a freakish athlete who can do things that some people can't. And I think the coolest thing about her is she's just tough. She's super tough. Like I've seen her play through being sick. I've seen her play through being hurt. And she just, again, puts it on her back and goes for it and plays through things that a lot of people would just tap out. Her role changed a little bit this year. It wasn't necessarily by design. We bring in Haley, continues to develop and is the shooter that she is. And then Abby Simshauser comes in and is a really well-rounded player, aggressive shooter. So Brooke kind of took second seat just on her own without me telling her to do anything like that, and started passing the ball more. I think she led our team in assists this year. And I think she enjoyed that role in the beginning, just kind of feeling out where people were and what her job was. And then towards the end of the season, she really started to take over and kind of be the Brooke we all knew she could be. And it wasn't that she was doing poorly in the beginning. It was just different. And again, just I think she didn't let all the like GCC Player of the Year last year and first team all conference stuff get to her, and I think she actually kind of appreciated being in a different role and not having the pressure of repeating or being the thing that she was the year prior. She did what the team needed her to do last year, and she did the same thing this year. So again, like a selfless teammate, tough, works her butt off, and is still able to have fun. She's always, kind of like goofing with people, like grabbing people by their toes or, pinching them or pushing them and just messing around with them. She's just a prankster and a silly kid. But when it's time to play, it's time to play, and she gets going. So special person, special player.
That's great. And that's something I have found being around your earlier teams. You guys had some stuff at the winery, or I've met some of the gals, and I have to commend you, Coach. I have a lot of respect for you because you bring in these gals that just have such great personalities, and then they get in the pool and you turn them into complete animals. And I don't know what you do. I don't need to know, but you have coached these girls up to be great women outside the pool. And then the second they get in, they flip a switch and it's go time. And I respect you for that. And the girls on the team are so fun to be around. And I want to ask you about the team. What made this team different from other teams in the past that you've coached?
Ooh, Fresno State specifically, I think.
Sure.
This was probably our most talented team that we've ever had, and that's not like a jab at any of the teams that we've had in the past. That's a testament to them, that's what they've built, and that's what the people that they played with and helped mold as juniors and seniors came in and have been continuing to raise the level of our program. So I think that our older gals should be very proud of their contribution to the legacy of our program. And none of this would have been possible without them getting this thing off the ground. But I think just top to bottom, talent is higher, experience level was higher. I think our size, we were bigger, we were longer. That was something that was really intentional. And even with the incoming class, I really wanted some more speed and some more length, because you get into these situations playing these MPSF teams and they're just taller than you are. And at some point, it's hard for Muggsy Bogues to get a rebound over Shaq. You know what I mean? Like it's at some point you're just not as big as somebody else. You could be in perfect position on a block and somebody could just shoot over you. Playing the perimeter on defense, we can force more turnovers. And that's something I think we were able to do really well this year, was play better defense, force more turnovers, better on-ball defense, creating more on the counterattack, having more speed to work our transition and finish on the counterattack, not needing to be in a front court. So that was a big difference. And then just having a more well-rounded breadth of shooters, right? So again, you have Haley, Brooke, Abby, Elisa does a great job over on the 4-5 side. Cynthia won like almost every sprint that she did, the little swim off at the beginning. So getting that extra possession, or that first possession, was big for us. I think Ashley Williams did a great job holding it down in the center position. Caitlin Mossman, one of our freshmen, she's going to be a special player on the team when she, as a freshman, for you to contribute good minutes and do a good job as a freshman is huge. But like, she really started to climb towards the end of the season. So she's going to end up being really helpful and great for us. So just being more physical, being faster, being longer. And then ultimately it's just time, like you don't know what you don't know, and you come in and you learn the stuff. And obviously you're going to be more comfortable with it after year 2 or after year 3 or going into year 4, like you're going to be more comfortable with the material, and it's going to be more second nature, as opposed to like everything is new and I'm drinking from a fire hose, which it's a lot of information for some of these gals. It's not their fault. They're doing the best with what they got. So I think that's probably the biggest reason for our success recently, is we've done better. We've learned more. We've been able to expand the subject matter, the stuff that we've been able to teach them, different 5-on-6 defensive reads instead of just like really basic stuff. And And so we can be a little bit more well-rounded against some of the more elite teams, and also challenge some of the more elite teams, because we are able to handle a little bit more cerebrally in time, because things happen so quickly. So long-winded answer, but I feel like that's probably what makes the team different than years past.
Mm-hmm. I like it. Now I'm going to ask you sort of a personal question, Coach, but what did you take away or learn? You may not have learned it, and then maybe it stood out this season. But what are you taking away from this past season personally?
Yeah, it made me kind of think about some of my recruiting for the 25s, the graduating high school class of 2025, and making sure that we're covering some of our bases to be a little bit more effective. The teams that were battling for the championship they could run 12 people through each game, not counting goalies. Like, they could go 6 for 6. So we need to be deeper. We need to be longer. We need to be faster. There's a lot of things we need to improve upon, but I think depth is the biggest one, because the cumulative effect of running the same 9 gals through a 4-game tournament one weekend, that just takes a toll on their bodies. And then just being able to handle training. Our season's so long. We start 8-hour training in September, which is not much. It's 8 hours a week. It's not super intensive. But then, like, late October, we'll start our 20s. We'll go through Thanksgiving. So that's, a month and a half, a month-ish of that. And then when we get back in January, it's just January through Mother's Day in May of, 6 days a week, going for it, and so they have to be able to physically withstand the load of training, not just the games, but the actual training itself, because we got to get after it and practice in order to be ready for a game. So that was a big lesson, is just building on our depth, needing to run people through a little bit more, give them some more minutes so that we can be deeper. And then just recruiting stuff, making sure I'm bringing in the right kids with the right skill set. Because, like, you meet some great kids out there, and you want it to work out, but sometimes it's just not a good fit for them in terms of the way they play. And you don't want to set them up for failure either. And then I think, really getting deep on it is, there were some things I guess I got a little complacent on, a little comfortable with, like with the team, and that kind of came back and was like, all right, hey, no, you got to pay attention to this. And so it was a great reminder for me moving into next year of a way I can be a little bit better for the girls and support them a little bit better in terms of like a leadership group. I don't name captains, but having like a leadership committee of people that I trust who can come to me with things that are happening that I can help them handle, just checking in, making sure that they're communicating clearly to the rest of the group, the standards and expectations that our group has, just stuff like that. I think that's just some cultural stuff, and then obviously some playing stuff too.
Do you think the wear and tear of the Golden Coast Conference tournament played any effect on the national tournament? Just because you brought up depth, I'm just curious.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. No doubt, no question.
You got a little revenge tour there.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a doozy of a game. I don't want to talk about it. It was a great game. It was like super exciting, but it was one of those, like, you're up 9-2 and then you go into overtime. Like, it's just the tale of two halves. Not our finest moment in the second half, but whatever. It ended well. Good lesson for us to learn. But it's an emotional weekend. You play 3 games in 3 days. Very competitive games with stuff riding on it. Again, it's the culmination of your season. It's not just that weekend itself, but all of it leading up. But yeah, we had to, and then ultimately, like, you do this thing that you've been planning on setting your mind towards. That's been kind of the goal, the target. Obviously, there is no NCAAs unless you win conference. So that is kind of the big emotional thing. And so once you get it, there is a little bit of an emotional letdown or physical letdown. but I had to manage a lot of minutes that next week. So they got Monday off. Tuesday we came in, but it was afternoon training. Did like a little loosen out swim, get them going, get their bodies moving so they're not just sitting and getting super stiff over those 2 days. A little bit of passing and shooting, nothing super like cerebral, so they don't have to be like hyper engaged mentally. And then like we tried to get after it Wednesday, but again, like, you know, somebody's hip, somebody's knee, somebody's back, somebody's, you know, like shoulder, you know, like there's the cumulative effect of the length of the season was really starting to rear its head there. And then even just, you know, like some kids were targeted, like Brooke got smashed by a kid in the semifinal, and Abby, I don't think Abby came out of the final game, and that's a heavy minute load. So yeah, definitely played a part, because ultimately it's like I would have loved to have really gotten them going that week, but I actually had to manage a good 4 or 5 days of that week with just recovery, sitting kids out, you know, letting them have a little bit more of a rest so that they'd actually be ready for the quarterfinal game.
And how do you handle that? How do you prepare them mentally, I should say, rather than just physically as a coach? How do you prepare them mentally?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not just like a, hey, all right, we made it to NCAA, so now we got to start working on this. It's like an all year thing that we work towards. And even just culturally throughout the 4 years of the student athletes experience here, there are certain things that do not change. So for example, like rankings, I always talk smack on the rankings. Like I don't care about the rankings. Like obviously the rankings are fun. It's fun for like you, it's fun for our sports information person. It's exciting for the families, but to me, like the ranking doesn't mean anything until the very end of the season. Like for example, we were ranked third at one point, but we finished sixth. So do we want to rest our laurels on that third? Well, we were ranked third. Okay, well, you finished sixth. That's like being the preseason player of the year. Like, but were you the postseason player of the year? You know, I don't, you know, like I want to see what you actually did. And so I talk a lot about that. Like, let's not get too sucked into the things that we have no control over. You know, we can't be worried about a ranking or playing for a ranking. We just got to play and treat every possession as if each possession matters. So if you're up by 20, if you're down by 20, next possession, stay in the moment, a little bit of, you know, stoicism for your day there. But I think those are the things that we talk about often. You know, I'll get on their case when we're winning a game by a lot because I don't like their effort or they're letting certain things go that they shouldn't let go. And it's like, you guys should have pride in the way you play, and, you know, you're building habits. And so, are you building good habits or bad habits? So I'm sometimes happier with them after a tough loss than I am after a big win, because they could have gotten lazy in the second half. And again, you see how quickly the game can change and how people can fight their way back into it either way. You know, if you're down by a lot, if you're up by a lot, people can fight their way back in. So just be accountable to your work and take care of your business and be respectful of your opponent and of the game and take it seriously and work to build good habits. So I think that's all that cumulative conversation throughout the season adds up to that moment as well, where it's like, hey, it's not like, oh, NCAAs, now we get to try hard. Like that's, ooh, conference championships, now we get to try hard. Absolutely not. It's just like any other game. Obviously you want to bring your best, but you don't want to put undue pressure on yourself because this game means something. You know, you should just, it's a game and we're going to play it the same way that we play every other game, because that's how we approach every match we play.
Right. Well, Coach, hopefully. I think I'm going to have to sign up, and when I get down, I need you chewing out by you or something, because I agree with everything you said.
I do a lot of chewing.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I'm not much. You can talk to the girls. Maybe they'll disagree. I don't do a ton of chewing out. It's like a good maternal scolding, maybe, but I don't know about a chewing out. It's rare. You got to like get me. You got to redline me to get me to really chew you out.
All right. Okay. Well, I will not try and do that. I'm going to stay away from that.
Please don't. Yeah.
Expectations for, well, actually, before we get there, off season right now, not really the off season. I shouldn't even say that word. Doesn't really exist. What are you up to right now?
Oh God. Uh, I'm trying to hire
Your
another
break.
new assistant. Yeah, no breaks. Trying to hire a new assistant, so we're working on that. We do some like camps and clinics, so summer camps for water polo, but also like some community engagement stuff, like with a couple of the local school districts for some like water safety and just fun, like get involved and play water polo, learn water polo, and it's not like super hardcore like these kids are getting ready to go to college or go to high school and play, but it's more just like it's fun and it's a fun summer activity for them to do. So we've been doing a lot of work getting ready for those camps throughout the summer. Obviously recruiting. So all the summer tournaments are coming up and the qualification for the Junior Olympic tournaments coming up. So planning all of that and just getting our calendar ready for the next year scheduling, making sure that all of our tournaments are set. So we'll host our Polo Palooza tournament again next January. So getting that all set up and ready. Yeah. So, having a couple, some of the kids will want to meet and just discuss their plan for the summer and how they're going to be ready to come back next year. But yeah, I feel like we're constantly doing something. Even just the to-do list is a to-do, just making sure all of our things are checked off with our compliance office, with our administration, making sure everybody's all set and ready to go for the start of next year.
And expectations for next year. Where's the bar? I mean, you guys have just been climbing every year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Last year was pretty special for 20-win season, conference championship. We beat a lot of teams for the first time last year. Michigan, SC, Stanford. There were probably a couple others. Like there were so many firsts that happened this year. That was really exciting. Even UCSD, I think that was the first time we beat UCSD. You know what I mean? Just stuff like that, like little things that just add up, and it's exciting stuff. Moving into next year, like we'll be transitioning to a new goalkeeper, and they're both young, and so that'll be they'll have to really step up this year. So we're working on that. But we return a decent amount of our offense. Obviously, Haley's back, Brooke's back, Abby's back. We have a strong senior class, strong junior class. I'm expecting a couple of our freshmen to step up now that they're sophomores. Obviously, the two goalkeepers, Mossman and Kira, really need them to step up and put in some good work. They're all capable athletes that can really help our team. And I think we have some freshmen coming in that are hungry to really push and try to be relevant in terms of playing time. I think they'll help us with our depth issue. And again, let's just see how they can pick up all of the tactics and the language of the technical skills and things like that, and see if they can pick that up. But I don't see why we can't compete for another championship. I think globally, though, like now that the Olympic Games are this summer, and a lot of those athletes will be coming back to school. So Stanford's going to get 4 kids that are just out of this world. UCLA gets 2 kids back, and then they just got a transfer that was pretty big from Hawaii. One of Hawaii's best players transferred to UCLA. So they're going to be, and they have Lauren Steele, their goalie, is a freshman. She's lights out. And then SC gets a couple kids back from the Olympics, one from the American team, one from the Australian team. So some strong players coming back in for those programs. So I think, the rich kind of get richer in that aspect, but I think the, 5 to 20 is still a competitive group where we can hang in there. We're still going to play a hard schedule. We'll still try our best to compete against those really great teams. But yeah, we got to find a way to keep breaking in.
Mm-hmm. I did not know that. You can take off time for the Olympics and still have that year available. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like an Olympic redshirt year. So I did that in 2004, probably before all of you were born. Did that back in 2004. So what would have been, you're a little one. Yeah. So that would have been my senior year of college. So I deferred. So I basically pressed pause on school, went and trained full time. When I finished, came back in the fall of 2004 for the 04-05 academic year. Okay, you were 11. Okay, sorry, Bulldogs Bob, my bad. I was like 22. So it's aging me, man. But you can press pause on that and come back and compete. So it's great for the sport because the kids can play and come back to college, and it's exciting. But at the same time, it's also like they get, you know, a year of exclusive training with the best and all these great tournaments and stuff like that, and it gets a little gnarly. All right, Robert, you have me beat. I see you over there.
This is one thing, Coach. We have a bunch of Bobs and Roberts in the chat. I can't tell if they're all one person or they claim to be different people, but I don't know.
Well, there's one Bob not here. I'm not Bob, so I can keep it up here.
There you go. Okay, so this year we're coming after UCLA and Cal. We need wins against them, right?
That's right. Yep, UCLA, Cal. Got to get over that Cal hump. I think the great thing about this, though, is, you know, we've earned so much respect in the water polo community from so many people. Like, we got a lot of people rooting for us because they believe that we can knock people off. And I know that one of my best friends is the coach at Cal, and I'm really proud of her for being the first female to coach in the NCAA championship game for water polo. She was a super senior at UCLA when I was a freshman. And so we went to school together and trained together with the national team and things like that, and still continue to coach together with the national team. And so I know that she's always respectful of our team and always needing to be prepared for our team. They're not going to sleep on us, that's for sure. And even like the UCLA coach, Adam, he was also a super senior when I was a freshman at UCLA, and he's a fan of what we're doing and wants to be a part of it, loves coming up to Fresno. Actually just talked to him on the phone today. Are you guys hosting your tournament this year? We want to come up. I love coming up. So I think that, you know, we've earned a lot of respect, not just our program, but like I think Fresno's earned a lot of respect from the water polo community. That's something our community should be proud of, that we've made it a nice place for people to come and compete, and they enjoy it and they want to come back. And, you know, even something as small as like a snack table for the athletes, like somebody was talking about that at recruiting, like, you know, hey, we love the Fresno State treats, this Fresno State snack table. We got to come back. So whatever I can do to bribe them to come back up and compete here. But I appreciate that from our community coming out and making a scene, being loud and having fun and making it an exciting place to play. So thanks to the community for that.
Mm-hmm. Now there is a question in here in the chat, Coach. I said I was going to ignore it, the chat for you, but I actually like this one. Bulldogs Bob asked about water polo growing in the Valley since you have arrived. I have heard about the water polo program. People are actually talking about Fresno State women's water polo within the high school realm. So I could answer. I don't know if I could answer that for you, but I think it is. I don't know, Coach.
Well, I would love to hear what you have to say, and then I can add on. I'd love to. You do a little talking here, Caleb. You say what you heard, and then I can circle back.
Oh, there's just energy around Fresno State water polo.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, and yeah, and again, I can't speak to what it was before because like I'm not from here originally. Like I'm a proud Fresno now, but my kids are growing up here, and I know they're proud to be here. But I wouldn't be doing an adequate service of talking about what it was before. But I know that, you know, we are competing more at the high school level. I think the club level has grown significantly in the area. The opportunities for competing are more now that it's not kind of I think sometimes when you have like a monopoly on something, it like, all right, that's good enough, you know, that we're the best of what's around. And when something else comes in and kind of challenges that mindset, it forces you to be better, right? So without challenge, there is no change, right? So the stimulus of having more people and more minds and maybe some competition in this area has raised the level of competition amongst the high school ranks, no doubt, especially on the girls' side. And so that's that's definitely been an improvement that I've seen, where it's not just, all right, just play the 3 months of high school, play like a month and a half in the summer, but also with your high school, and then swim. You know what I mean? And swimming is important, no doubt, but how many sports around here are completely specialized? Like I tried to sign my daughter up for softball at 9, and they already have $300 bats and pitching lessons and hitting lessons and stuff like that. And it's like, so if we have like this side by side parallel of like pitching lessons and hitting lessons and $300 bats at 9 years old, but only doing something 3 months out of the year and thinking we're good at it, that's two very different things, right? So we got to make sure that, like, I'm all for playing other sports, the alternative of, I'd rather you swim than just be elbow deep in a bag of Doritos, like we need to play. You need to play water polo. You need to swim. You play softball, play basketball, do something with your body, learn about angles and passing lanes and leading a player with a pass, or like all that stuff could be beneficial. The alternative of playing another sport versus doing absolutely nothing, I would rather you play another sport. But in this world now where it's kind of a year-round situation, if you truly want to be good at something, you have to be committed to it. And so I think that's probably been the biggest change that people have realized in this area, is knowing that you can't just like show up for it when you feel like it and play against the same teams and the same kids all the time. You got to get out of the bubble. You have to go up north. You got to go down south. You got to be willing to kind of get your teeth kicked in, metaphorically speaking, by another team and be like, we just got blown up and we got to do better. We need to see where, again, without challenge, there is no change. We need to see where we can be better and how we can improve upon that. So hopefully that answers your question, Bob.
Well, I can tell you one thing. As I was a basketball kid in high school, but I played water polo as well. Basketball, if you're a high school kid, play basketball and water polo. It's almost exactly the same. And I brought the whole basketball team out, and we actually did pretty well, Coach. I got to say. But one thing I did learn, asked me about what I'm hearing in my experience with water polo, and I'm sure people know this. You go through suits. People latch onto your suit, and sometimes they tear. How many suits did you guys go through this year?
Oh God. I'd have to ask my assistant. She handles all that. But yeah, the kids will come in and be like, I need a new suit. It tore, or they just wear out after a while and you need a new one. The zipper will break, that kind of stuff. They've actually gotten quite a bit better. Like when I was younger, we'd have to wear like 2 suits because of, if the first one rips off, you got to back up underneath it. But it's much better now. The materials are more comfortable and more durable as well. But yeah, that's definitely a thing. I've had to actually change in the water or up against a wall, just to get a new suit on and get back in. There's the medical scissors. You just cut them off and put on a new suit, wiggle into it, and hop back in.
I had a bunch of, as a high school, a lot of high school females saw my white behind. So I get it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's a thing.
I should have wore 2. I did not. Okay. Well,
at some point, it's just like, all right, here you go. We've all got something back there.
Well, Coach,
we don't need to be shy. I spend a lot of time around kids in swimsuits, so it's like, it's just what it is. Here we are.
Yep. How can the Red Wave support you guys going into this next season? I know, like, number one, we got to show up. But other than that, where do you want to see the Red Wave support you guys, and you in particular?
Oh, man. Where don't I? I think, I don't know. Coming from LA, I do appreciate, and the reason I'm here, in all honesty, and we probably talked about this, 7 years ago, is the symbolism of the Green V, and how, growing up in North Orange County and going to school in Los Angeles, you are lost in the sea of anonymity. You are just another ant on the anthill, and it's hard to just drive back and forth and not have a purpose and just be stuck in this, rut of nobody cares. Everybody's just doing their own thing. And that lack of a sense of community was something I always really struggled with. I just couldn't really articulate that as a younger person. And so when I came out here for my interview and I saw that, and I'm like, all right, so there's the school logo, there's the bulldog, the 4-paw dog, there's the bulldog script, whatever. You have that, but you have this V too. And so you're not just for one of the institutions in this city or in this county, in this area. You are representing an entire region of great hardworking people. And I really resonated with that and wanted to be a part of it, because I just wanted to be a part of something bigger than me. And to be able to create something that has an impact on others and that other kids can get behind. For example, it just warms my heart. We have a young lady from New Mexico on our team, Susana, and she's a little kid at our camp, had a little bit of like a heat stroke thing going on, was, having some trouble breathing, and was, a little panic attack. And Susana jumped in. She's a lifeguard. She jumps in and she handles it. And it was just the coolest thing to watch her handle this. And like, that kid is probably going to forever be a Susana fan, right? And then there's this little 11-year-old girl, and she came to the clinic and she said, I did my state report on New Mexico and I talked about Susana Martinez. And I was like, that's amazing. And Susana's right over there. So I went and got her. I'm like, you got to meet this little girl, And so she told her all about it and took a photo with her. I'm like, how cool is that? Like, this little girl that you've never met did a state report on New Mexico and talked about Susana Martinez from the Fresno State women's water polo team. Like, it's just such a cool, like, if you can see her, you could be her kind of moment. And that's something that I've really enjoyed being able to do for young people throughout my career. But now to see our kids doing that for others, like, it's true. Like, we're not just saying, oh, Pride of the Valley and Green V and this, that, and the other. And I know it can be a talking point for some people, but it's true. That these kids are looking at our young ladies and admiring them and appreciating them and wanting to emulate what they're doing. And that the fact that our kids are doing good stuff is even better, right? So they have good role models to follow. And so I'm super proud of that. And so I think that's the biggest thing, is like, we do have tremendous respect for our community and the people within it. And so, yeah, definitely showing up, being loud. I would love to have like a soccer game atmosphere, like I'm sure the fire marshal wouldn't want it, but like, let's go like full on Serbian, like flares and drums and vuvuzelas and all this stuff. We probably wouldn't be able to do the flares, but you know what I mean? A girl can dream. But just like having it be like a fun and exciting place to play. Just getting loud, having fun, making signs. My daughters run the flags back and forth, and all the other coaches are like, you guys had so much fun with that flag. And my husband bangs the drum. We can't do it during conference games. There's no noisemakers allowed, but that kind of stuff, just packing those stands and making it fun. I think that would be great. Obviously the NIL stuff is huge for those who can give in that way. That would be something that we definitely want to start building. And then I think just, supporting our events and coming out to our stuff, engaging with our young ladies. If you see them in their t-shirts out at Target or wherever you are, the grocery store. I think that's one of the cool things about this area, again, is like the kid at the grocery store knows what I do and, oh, how's it going, coach? And I love that. I think it's great. And obviously keeps me on my best behavior and keeps them on their best behavior too. So if they know people are watching.
Yeah. I know, coach, I'm going to give you a compliment. I don't know. But I'm a Susana fan now. And I think how the girl, that is awesome. I absolutely love that. And I also think that is a reflection of you. You are their leader, coach, and the way you act around them, they see that and you bring that out of them. So I want to say thank you to you as well for coaching those girls and doing all of that. So,
my pleasure.
Is there
Thank
anything
you.
else? Is there anything else that I missed that you want to cover at all? We did not.
I think Bulldogs Bob got a question over here. I can answer that too. We've got were there more Fresno State fans than other fans? You guys kill it. Yeah, the Red Wave show's out. And so, and our parents do a great job. They bring their families. And again, like, I'm not just recruiting the kids, I'm recruiting the parents. And we have some really great families out there too that are extremely supportive. And the flag was there and everything else too. So there's definitely a lot of red up in Berkeley a couple of weeks ago. But
Oh, good.
yeah, no, I think you did a great job. Thanks for having me on and for covering our team. And I appreciate all the Bobs in the chat box over here with your participation in this as well. Again, I really support I appreciate you guys being supportive of our program and watching us and following us and appreciating what we do, because these kids work hard and they're a fun group of girls. And so I think that's what college sports is all about, is like people who have a great personality or are working hard to achieve something that represents their city and their institution. So they're doing it right. And that's one of the nice things about being in a smaller sport per se, is I don't feel like I have to sacrifice my ethics or my morals in order to do what I feel is right for these young people to have a championship experience, but also become better people. And ultimately the water polo is going to go away and the sports are going to go away. Like I played 2 Olympic games, that goes away. You get old, your back starts hurting, you get plantar fasciitis, and, life goes on, And so I think that being a better person will outlive anything you do where you throw a ball into a net, so hopefully we can continue to work on that with these kids.
Yes. Well, Coach, I thank you so much. Guys in the chat, I asked Coach to stick around just to talk baseball. She said, I don't know. You do it by yourself, Caleb. Sorry. No, I
I can tell you, they wear hats, they throw a ball, they hit the ball with a stick, like it's good stuff. I can bring some really great, commentary to this.
Oh, well, Coach, I really appreciate it. Thank you. And I'm praying for your family, that the Lord gives you guys strength through the off season and throughout the season. And I pray he blesses you guys as well. So Coach Benson, thank you so much.
That, Caleb. Thank you.
You're awesome.
All right. Good luck with baseball talk.
Thanks. So I guess I'm go Dogs.
Go Dogs. That's right.
That was the best Go Dogs we've ever had on here. I love it.
Really? Weak. I can even do better than that. Come on now. All right. I gotta challenge my peers. You better tell me all the ones that do a haphazard job, and so I can get on them about it. Or tell me who your next guest is, and I'll prime them for you.
You got it.
All right. You got to get Lisa in here. I don't know if her Go Dogs would be great though, but she's a good person to talk to.
Okay. Yeah, I've been told I need to get Lisa on, and they had a good season as well. So.
Heck yeah, they did. I keep joking with her that I'm just trying to be like her. So, yeah.
Oh, all right, Coach.
Y'all.
Well, thank
you. Have a good one.
I'll get back to some peace and quiet over there.
I'll do my best.
All right.
See you guys.
Yeah. Oh, huge thank you to Coach Benson. She is awesome. Mr. Pletz is with his family right now, so that's why he's not here. He wanted to be here. I'm going to text him right now to get in on his phone so that we could talk some baseball. But if you're in the chat right now, let me know what your guys' thoughts were on the baseball games, and we can get to that. And I'll interact with you guys, Bob, Robert, and whoever else is in the chat. I saw Jake was here. Said I got to shout Jake Mastro. He can't wait for next season, water polo season. Yeah. So thank you guys for interacting with us over here and chatting with Coach. I'm going to text Pletz. Dogs, if you don't know, the Dogs have been eliminated from regionals. They lost their first 2 games to UCSB, Santa Barbara, and then San Diego. They put up a good fight, though. I asked some people today in the office. They're big baseball fans, and some of them were former college baseball players. What they thought about the showing from Fresno State. Obviously disappointed. We didn't want it to end that way, but they said, and I'll put it this way, they didn't watch Fresno State baseball until the conference tournament, but they only had good things to say, right? They thought, we had some good players, which I agree. And they thought we had a good showing. We, of course, as diehards have big expectations. So it was a little harder for me to swallow. But great games. Okay, let me get to you guys. Disappointed. I was hoping that we would take at least one from Robert. I'm with you. But I'm glad the boys competed. We did get down by a couple runs both games, but we fought back, scored. We even had the lead. So, I'm happy. I'm happy. Hate losing. I hate losing more than I love winning. I don't know if you've heard that saying. I sometimes I think it's kind of stupid, but it's true. Like we get more engagement when we lose, when there's a bad loss, than when we win, because it's true. We all don't like losing. Bulldogs Bob, baseball games were frustrating and disappointing. We could have won these games with just a little better pitching and a couple more hits with runners in scoring position. Murph is going to be kicking himself until next season for how the season ended. My expectation and that my mind doesn't move as fast as your guys. My expectation of the program is to win the Mountain West Conference tournament next year and be back in the regionals next season. I agree with that. The fan support and access to talent demands that. Fan support was awesome in Santa Barbara. Talent is there. We've talked and we've been seeing the recruits coming in and Ovi and the development. I agree with everything you said, Bulldogs Bob. I almost put out a video and I didn't, which I should have. I was before regionals started. And that was, we had been talking about pitching all season. And I was going to make a video that said, I'm really interested to see how our bats do. And I think it's going to be, we really need to score 10 runs. Our bats really have to be on fire. It's going to be all about bats. I thought Murph had a good game, second game, by the way. Let me get to Andrew. Felt like we were really close, just didn't quite have the pitching. Yeah. And I thought, who was it? Noah that started the second game. You always want your starter to go a little bit deeper. I don't know what your guys' thoughts were on if leaving him in a little bit more. I know he's struggling, but or was it Dixon? Is it Dixon? Either way, pitching, I agree with all of you. Pitching could have been better. Murph is a beast when he's hot. There's no stopping us. And Ovi knows it. If you listen to his presser at the end, we have a lot of returning power next year with Murph, Eddie, Rocco, and Bobby Blanford back next year. I agree. Yes. Yeah, Dixon wasn't too. Okay, yeah, I was thinking Dixon. Actually, this just popped in my head now, and that I want to share. What do you guys think of Riding not going? Because he had a great showing in the tournament. I don't know, just thoughts. This is why I wish Caleb Pletz was here, which I didn't end up texting him. The other thing that I did want to bring up real quick as we approach the 1 hour mark, I guess we could talk football. Bulldogs all night, was football. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Bernard Berrien and Daryl Rogers have been added to the College Football Hall of Fame ballot. Just for the people that don't know, Bernard Berrien was wide receiver. Daryl Rogers was a wide receiver and a head coach for Fresno State. And I believe he passed away in 2018. So they are both on the ballot for College Football Hall of Fame. I would love to see them get in. And then we have basketball release some news. It wasn't a recruit. It was, we are going to be participating in the Acrisure Holiday Invitational in Palm Springs. We are going to be playing Wazoo, Washington State, and the other two teams are SMU and Cal Baptist. And winners play each other, losers play each other. I think it's a good thing to play in those preseason tournaments. I think those are pretty good teams to have in there. SMU and Wazoo. I know Cal Bap is really a basketball school. They really don't have anything else there. They have baseball. They might have baseball, but I think it's good for the basketball team, and I'm excited to watch this new squad get to work. Okay, let's see. We have the pitching for the conference with Jack Anchor and Vic Ariola. Writing was bad. He came in after Beal was relieved after the third inning against UCSB. Okay, well, there you go. You answered my question. Need to strengthen, reinforce the bullpen for a regional or championship setting. Yes, that was eventually the downfall where, and like you guys have been saying and Caleb's been saying all season, is the consistency of what's on the mound. Numerous Bulldogs should be in the College Football Hall of Fame, starting with Jim Sweeney, and save this stuff for next weekend. Stretch the topic out until fall camp starts. We will do that. I'm sure Caleb's going to want to hop in on all the stuff, so we will do that. I did want to mention that we have signed with College Football Dogs. They do spell it DAWGS. We'll forgive them. So they're going to be helping us out a little bit and helping us pay the bills a little bit. So it should be fun. They're good guys over there. So check out their stuff. And we might be doing some writing for them as well, or I might be. Never done that before, but we're going to learn how to do it. So what is going to come with that, just so you guys know, is there may be some ads here and there, very much like last season. But they put together a cool video for us. I need to link that to YouTube. So they are supporting us. So we really appreciate the College Football Dogs. It's going to be a fun season. So football season, especially, I can't wait for football season. Okay. I'm going to end it there. And then we will get to, so you no longer work with Learfield and Fresno State. Yeah, I didn't hear from Learfield after our contract was up, and I didn't reach out. But got to be honest, I didn't reach out. They didn't reach out. There was nothing. College Football Dogs reached out to us, and they offered us actually a very competitive deal, and we signed with them, and we're happy. Everybody's happy, and they're good guys. So it's going to be fun. And I think they have some stuff planned for us. We're excited, and they're going to, it comes. Hopefully it comes as we're working through the perks of it and things like that. So it's still very new, but we're excited. Yeah, I'm going to save the rest of this for next week. We'll talk. I would like to get more coaches on and do stuff like this while school's out. So huge thank you to Coach Natalie Benson. She was awesome. I don't know if you guys could tell, like, this is why we are. She's going to win national championship. This is why we're legit. She is so good at what she does, and I really appreciate her spending the time with us. So thank you guys once again for all of your support and interaction on here. And if you're on X, appreciate you as well. I will see you guys next week. Stay safe, stay healthy. God bless. And as always, go Dogs!